Well, there, guys, we need a proper intro for this. Bear with me. I'm only joking, guys. It's not the gaffer's gaff, but what it is, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for viewing. Thank you to Marcus, Paul, and Mr. Wheels for completely winding me up this morning, because we're having the most stupid debate, in my opinion, that this show's ever had.
Nah.
You see, Paul and Marcus, why I hide them, I do not know. I'm a bit rocky because I'm walking around. We had a chat this morning about what is the greatest Champions League final between, and it's between two. We're not going to go into one of them. We're only going to pick two. We're going to pick Istanbul, Liverpool, AC Milan. You know, the AC Milan that's probably the world's greatest team at the time, or Man U versus Bayern Munich. You know, the Bayern Munich team that no one really ever talks about any of their players anymore, other than their goalkeeper.
Absolutely.
I'll be honest, guys. I forgot about that game.
Oh, wait, what's going on?
Why am I going all big? Yeah, I forgot about that.
There we go, sorry.
I'll be honest.
Right, can I start off?
Who talks about that final anymore unless you're a Man U fan?
Let me start off with saying something, yeah? So
Go.
Within 18 months or within 2 years of that game, of a so-called Bayern Munich side which was rubbish, they took Real Madrid, who had an absolute awesome team, and beat them, won the Champions League with primarily the same players who played us in that final.
Yeah.
And you say they're rubbish when AC Milan let a 3-0, what was it, 3-0 and then let it slip?
What, in 45 minutes?
Yeah.
What a game.
Yeah, that is a great point, Paul. That is a great point. I mean, imagine letting 3 goals in 45 minutes. I mean, it's almost as bad as letting 2 goals in 2 minutes.
Mate, that's not the same.
I'll give you a good point.
Worse.
I'll give you a good point.
I mean, on that ratio of letting 2 goals in 2 minutes,
not the same.
If you'd have carried on the half, you'd have scored about 80 odd goals.
Not the same.
Okay, Paul, Dave, Danny, listen to this for a point then. If that AC Milan team was so good, as you point out, how come they didn't win the league that year? How come they didn't win the
Champions League 2 years later, though?
In the Champions League.
Where were they?
If that Bayern Munich team was so good, why did they never win the Champions League?
They did.
They did.
Not with that team.
They did 2 years later. It was the same team.
Yeah, AC Milan won it 2 years later.
Yeah, but with the same team.
I've got a question. If you get asked the question, like, what's the biggest comeback in football history? What's the first one you think of? AC Milan, Liverpool, Istanbul.
Yes, Danny.
I don't think you do. I think
you're on your way to admin of the month, pal.
Well, he's going to ruin it by then saying it's followed shortly by, the greatest escape of Leicester, but we're not getting into that. But it's Istanbul, by all means.
The point made, which is always the point with what happened with us that year, was that team, that United team, was arguably voted the best Premier League team in history for 3 years. Yes. It was the best team.
Right. No, I agree with that. That Man U team was fantastic. And that team was better than the Liverpool team that won the Champions League. Not disputing that.
On top of
that Man U team.
What we did domestically and then took it to that final. Yeah, on top of that, without two of our best midfielders.
On paper, your achievement was far better than Liverpool's because you won the Premier League, you won the Champions League, and you won, I think it was the FA Cup, was it? Something like that. But we're on about individual games. And as an individual game, I'm sorry, but the Liverpool AC Milan, Jack, pack it in. That individual game, the Liverpool AC Milan game, is the greatest Champions League final of all time. No dispute.
100%.
Okay, my point is, United scored 2 injury time goals. Liverpool won on penalties.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why can't I hear anyone?
I can't.
Because Zach tried to call us.
Yeah, I'm back again.
Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you, Mark.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
what I'm saying is, Dave, United won in injury time, 2 goals. Liverpool needed penalties.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's what made it so dramatic. They came back against arguably one of the greatest European sides of all time. Right, and this goes to my
Okay,
point.
I'm
I
gonna
spoke
flip
about
it
it earlier.
though.
They
Right,
were
I'll
shit
flip it
at
around.
it, though.
Dave.
who in that
I'll flip this
Barcelona, who
around.
in that Bayern Munich team? Hang on, whoa. Who in that Bayern Munich team do people still talk about today, other than Oliver Kahn?
The goal scorer, Mario Basler.
Basler,
I ain't heard him in conversation for
Effenberg,
ever.
Yen Yeremies.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. But Maldini, Shevchenko, Inzaghi, Florent
Lizarazu.
Seedorf, Nesta.
Lizarazu won the World Cup, man. That German team won Euro '96.
Yeah, Maldini won the World Cup. Nesta won the World Cup.
But you're talking about players. You're talking about two players there who have been staples for the whole of their career. I'm talking
we
about
got
over
okay. So we got a few people watching. People are watching. Let us know in the comments what you think was the best final. Was it Liverpool versus AC, or was it Man United versus Bayern Munich?
Unfair,
Okay,
United
Dave, I'll
won
give
was
you,
6
Dave, I'll
years
give you another
before.
point here, okay? Dave,
Right,
I'll give you another
we're all
point
old
here.
enough to remember it.
Dave, here's another point for you. It's 3-3 penalties.
Yeah.
AC Milan beats on penalties. Would you still be talking about it right now?
Of course we would.
Yeah,
No,
what a comeback.
you wouldn't. You'd
That
be
Liverpool team was so much underdogs. Man United weren't necessarily underdogs. Okay, they weren't the favourites to win, but I wouldn't class them as underdogs. That Liverpool team,
Can I make a
Jimmy
point?
Traore
No.
wouldn't get in the bloody Sheffield United team.
Do you know how significant our win was? We were the first team in England to get to a European Cup final in how many years? No one was getting anywhere near it.
No, yeah, 100% agreed. But you're taking it out of the context of the match. We're talking about the match.
I'm not. We were dead and buried. We were dead and buried.
So was we. Liverpool 3-0 down. 3-0 against the atmosphere. Right, seriously, Man United, they go draw to some tin pot team, and everyone's like, "Oh, sack Ollie." What happened with Liverpool when we were 3-0 down? Champions League final, biggest game in the club's history in over 20 odd years. They were singing.
Okay? One new point. No, when we talk about people talking about, so we talk about the 1966 commentary. Okay. When
this guy brings the Chelsea final in.
When let me make this point.
I've not even got mine.
Clyde Tinsley goes, Solskjaer, they've done it. You know what I mean? That's what you hear every time. When you hear that commentary, you know exactly what game that's come from and what the context of it was. You don't. Yeah. I can't remember the commentary for Liverpool.
Oh, what about?
I can.
Hello. Jack, in your opinion, best European Cup final between Liverpool and AC and Bayern Munich, Man U? Which one?
Chelsea, Bayern Munich. You've got to look at it this way, right? Hang on. Liverpool went into the game against AC Milan, against a really good AC Milan team, but they didn't have an half-bad team either. Man United went in, and Man United didn't have an half-bad team. We had Ryan Bertrand. Ryan fucking Bertrand.
We're not talking about that, though.
The guy you don't... We got carried. Right, listen to it. The reason why our final... Fuck off. Not a chance. You got to remember, that season, Drogba carried the whole team. Whole team in all competitions.
Yeah, but it's Drogba.
Jack, the problem you've got with the Chelsea one is that, regardless of what you say, the money was spent, okay? You'd already lost the final against United, so you'd already been to a Champions League final. United hadn't been anywhere near. We're the first English club to get anywhere near it for what, 15 years?
Well, yeah, because there was only really Liverpool that didn't think in Europe.
Don't get me started.
If I'm true,
we were banned from Europe because of Liverpool fans. So,
what I would say then, if we're going off them two games, it's got to be the AC Milan Liverpool, mate, just because of the comeback. The comeback as a neutral, the comeback.
3-0 down. Yeah, 100%.
The only comeback that beats that is the Barcelona one they did. Was it Barcelona against PSG? Yeah, the Barcelona one that happened recently. That's the only comeback that beats that. What Barcelona down? 5-1? Is it 5-1 on aggregate?
Yeah, 5-1 with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, and away goals against them as well.
Yeah, but we are talking
finals, mate.
Finals, yeah.
All right, the Liverpool AC Milan one, hands down.
I mean, I remember because I remember watching it as a neutral. I was in school, and I remember going back the next day. Everyone was talking about it. Do you know what I mean? It was the one.
I'm not taking it.
Everyone was
I'm not
talking
taking
about
away
how-
from Man U. I watched the Man U
Only
game in
United
Ibiza.
fans. Only United
No,
fans would say that
bullshit,
final was better.
wasn't. It
100%.
wasn't. At the time, mate, it wasn't. Do you know what, Marcus? You're in
Yeah.
Ireland, okay? So you're
Yeah.
doing it from a non-English point of view because it's the problem we've got with English game is that everyone's tribal towards the fact that Jack's come on and tried to say that that Chelsea basically was one of the greatest finals because of Ryan Bertrand playing at left back. When we forgot about the millions which Abramovich put in to basically.
Okay.
be there in the
What
first
about the
what's the
what about the
excuse for
millions that
me
you
saying
spent?
Liverpool
I
then?
don't give a shit about that. We're talking about
What-
you're bringing that.
What
in.
about? Hang on a minute. What about the millions that United spent?
So tell me our starting 11 for the Champions League final, and how many of those were basically our players, or we picked them up from teams like Oldham. So Dennis Irwin from Oldham, Pete
tell you
Smart
what,
from Bromley.
Wasn't Cristiano Ronaldo in that team?
No.
No.
Oh, you're on about the other final. Oh, you're on about the other final.
Final, yeah.
99.
No, not the
We
final.
spent millions. We
No,
put together.
Nah, mate. Nah. Liverpool AC Milan, straight up.
Prove a point. I'm going to ask Mark. This is the question for Marcus, Jack, and Danny only. So me and Paul have got to stay out of this one. Right, lads. All three of you, can you tell me the starting 11 Bayern Munich team in the final against Man
Oh,
U?
this is unfair, though.
Yeah.
I can't because I weren't old. I was about what 4 or 5 year old.
Yeah, it's a bullshit. I call
Yeah,
that
same.
bullshit. I call that bullshit.
Okay,
That's
here,
an unfair question.
You're asking me the question. You're asking me a question.
Yeah, go on.
Oliver Kahn was in goal.
World best goalkeeper.
Mateus, Linka, Kufor centre half. Babel right back. Tarn at left back. Effenberg and Jeremy's in the middle. Bassler and Zickler and Yanko up front.
Right.
Can anybody say they remember them names?
Absolutely.
What?
Euro
Two,
96,
three.
mate. They won it with that team.
2 or 3, mate.
I'll probably say it.
And that team won the Champions League 2 years later as well.
Yeah, AC Milan won the Champions League 2 years later. They beat me in the final.
Not with a complete different side, though. And Bayern Munich.
AC Milan. That AC Milan team was one of the best teams to ever grace European football, and Liverpool managed to come back and beat them in a final, mate. There was no argument in that at all.
No, everyone writes you off at 3-0.
Jack,
I'm not debating that. We missed. Obviously, we started this because we're having a general chat, and the difference where I am compared to certain fans is that I can gracefully turn around and go, that was an awesome game. AC Milan were really they were a world class side at the time, but I'm not going to dismiss basically what we did because it goes down to basically you were talking about margins. To turn around and say that Bayern Munich side was a load of crap and you can't remember them is complete bullshit.
No. Right. I'm not saying that. The Bayern Munich team was a good team. And you're not, if you're in the Champions League final, you're a good team. And that Bayern Munich team had class players. But that AC Milan team, every single position, they were arguably one of the top 3 in the world.
See, I can't genuinely, hand on heart, I can't put out what I think their starting 11 was. I know Inzaghi played, he was in his 30s. I know Maldini played. I know Nesta played. Did Pirlo play in that game? Was he still at Milan at that point?
Pirlo played in that game. That was Pirlo in his prime.
I think you're forgetting Kaka. Yeah,
Who was in goal?
In his form.
Dida.
Who was in goal?
Kaka in form. Dida in goal as well.
Dida,
Wow.
Dida.
In that age.
Dida
was a De Gea. Was a De Gea of that generation. Obviously not so much now, but
arguably one of the best.
No, he wasn't though.
Okay, here, Paul. Here's a good point. Here's a good point about this multi-million question. How many of those AC Milan players were multi-million players?
What?
Shevchenko was a multi-million. Shevchenko was multi-million. Kaka was multi-million.
Crespo.
These players are both. These are multi-million. None of these are their own.
So
none of these.
Where did Milan finish that season in the league?
Lewis, what's your opinion on this? What is the best final between Liverpool, Barca, and Man U?
It's age dependent.
Was Zlatan in that team by any chance?
No, it wasn't. You have to think this, guys. This final was 99. That final was 2006 or 2007. The difference in football to then to now is a lot different. The teams were a lot different in the 90s than they were in the 2000s.
Quick question.
Long ball in the 90s won Champions League. Long ball in the 90s won Champions League. In the 2000s, in the 2000s, it was more of a footballing competition. You had the best technical ability players in the world playing in European football.
Play long ball. The United didn't have a team.
But everybody else seemed to, mate. Everybody had a big man up top picking the ball off. Everybody in the 90s.
Two up top and.
Right, okay, Ian Wright, Alan Shearer. You got to go with Shevchenko there as well. Herman Crespo, Raul. Mate, every team in
Raul wasn't a striker, no.
Yeah, exactly. They all had big men. They all had big men stood in the attacking half.
Raul was small.
Dion Dublin.
Raul was small.
Right. So did they not hoof the ball up to him? He took it down and made the game. Did he not? Well, is that not the definition of long ball? Give it to your striker, let him hold it and pay it off. Is that not the definition of long ball?
Long ball.
That's what Liverpool have brought it back. Liverpool have done it with Bobby Firmino. They give the ball to him. He lays it out to Mane and Salah. So football is changing back to that generation. But you've got to remember, long ball football started in the 90s. It slowly phased out in the early 2000s. When it came back through, and you had Jamie Vardy. Yeah, you're right there. Your Bobby Firminos now. They're bringing long ball back into football. So they're bringing it, pass the ball to the striker and let the striker lay off the wingers. And it's come back into football. In the 90s, every team, I don't care if you say you're a United fan or not, mate, played long ball football.
No, we
Fact. I've got a Man United fan stood in front of me, nodding his head, saying in the 90s they played long ball football.
We didn't play long ball football.
Andy Cole.
Get him on. Get him on.
Andy Cole.
It wasn't long ball.
Right, you're telling me at no point in that season did United score a goal from pinging the ball to their striker and him running through and scoring?
Say again?
Teddy Sheringham.
So at no point in that season did any United player get a long ball passed into them and they scored from it.
I'm not saying we didn't get, but we get that now. Players basically ping balls in.
No, but this is what I mean, Paul. The argument is the 90s Champions League final for you guys was a good win, but it doesn't beat the Liverpool AC Milan game. There's no way, shape, or form it beats it.
It's your opinion.
No, that's. I'm telling you, like 80% of this group would agree with that.
Are you saying
Jack? Before you came, Jack, before you came live, okay? If Liverpool had lost a penalty shootout, they wouldn't be talking about it right now.
But they did.
If AC Milan wins the penalty, shootout.
Hang on a minute, but that's all if buts and maybes. That's all if buts and maybes. Did they win the penalty shootout? Yes. Did they win it? Yes. You can't talk about what could have happened. We talk about what happened, mate.
They created the biggest comeback in history.
AC Milan had a goal disallowed. That was wrongly offside as well, by the way. It should have been 4-0 or 4-1 at the time.
Did none of that happen? Did anything happen controversial in the Champions League for United when they won it in '99? Yes, there was controversial shit all the way through the tournament. Not for United, but for the whole tournament. There you go. There you go. Hang on a minute. Two injury time goals.
Right, guys. I just want to move to Paul's point. Just let me talk. Right, just going back to the point earlier about people weren't old enough to remember. People remember France '98. People remember Euro '96. These events, especially Euro '96, before the Man U final. Yeah, people remember that. I remember games before I was even born, but I don't think Bayern Munich, Man United, best Champions League final I've ever thought of.
I only remember
when you think best Champions League, you go, as a football neutral, you go, fucking hell, that Liverpool AC Milan game was probably one of the best Champions League finals we've ever seen.
Yeah, it's one of them.
Yeah, one of them.
I mean, if you want to go Champions League final, let's go v Tottenham. That was crap.
Liverpool Tottenham was rubbish, yeah. But then you've got to look at it this way. If we're talking about it, right, 99 Man United, I am not taking it away from any way, shape or form, Paul. You did really well. You've got to be a great team to be there, mate. End of. But when you're 3-0 down in a Champions League final against one of the most arguable of that time, the best team to ever grace the planet at that time, and you come out after half time and bring it back and take it to penalties, If you're playing in that game, are you not going to remember that game as a player? The feeling you're going to get from being in that change room at half time, 3-0 down in a Champions League final against one of the best teams in the world as it stands.
Jack.
And you've gone into that second half and you've tore it
Everyone
apart.
writes you off at 3-0.
How did the Manchester United bench feel after 90 minutes when they were still 1-0 down?
And Solskjaer and Sheringham come on with what, minutes to go? How do you think they feel?
Yeah. So Solskjaer and Sheringham, did you say up top?
They scored. They came on.
Yeah. So you're saying about big people up top that you didn't play long ball? I swear to God, Sheringham was a long ball striker.
I just said Sheringham earlier as well.
Look at the goals.
The goals, mate. The goals. Fair enough. They probably weren't long ball, but Sheringham as a player is a long ball player, and he's trying to tell me United didn't play long ball at any point of that season.
Jack, he played off strikers, Sheringham. That's what he made a career of. He played off Shearer. He played off Klinsmann. He played off
Ferdinand.
Hang on a minute. Ferdinand, Shearer, and Klinsmann. What did they do? Oh, they were big men up top that knocked it down to Sheringham to score a goal. So is that not long ball football?
No, Sheringham used to play through.
Is that not long ball football?
Jack,
I can't even kick a ball. Even I know that's long ball football.
Right, listen. Definition of long ball football, right? If you ping a ball from your midfield or defenders right up the pitch over 25 yards, your striker takes it down and lays it off to another player for him to score. That is long ball football.
Jack, if you talk to experts around that time, what they said about Teddy Sheringham was basically he had no pace, and it was all down to the technical ability of him basically being able to pass the ball.
Mate, to play long ball football, you don't have to be pacey. You don't have to be pacey to play long ball football.
Leonardo Ajoa.
That's what he was saying. That was his game. He was a long ball specialist.
I'm actually going to say something quite controversial here. We talk about being down and out for the last minute because they were losing. Did Didier Drogba not score a last-minute goal against Munich?
Yeah. After being battered for 90 minutes. Okay. Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, and I'm not doubting that we played long ball football when we had Drogba. We did, because we could. If it works, fucking do it.
Let me bring this back. Okay, why are we debating about football quality? Do we look at 1966 and go, "Oh, that was shit" because we played in a certain way? We don't. We look.
I was 2 years old. I don't look back at that at all.
But
my argument is, Paul, is Man United's win was great. That was great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't. But AC Milan Liverpool is hands down the best Champions League final we have witnessed since it's been.
Liverpool AC was the best final as for neutrals to see. Do you know what I mean? That gave neutrals.
Yeah, not. Do you know what? Liverpool and AC Milan fans will talk about it. But then other football fans are talking about it. It's like when Aguero scored that winning goal for them to win the league. I'm a Chelsea fan, and every time I say that guy's name, all I hear in my head is, Aguero! It's just one of them things. When you think about Champions League finals, when you think about this generation, you think about people in the 30s, 40s and 50s, they've all witnessed that AC Milan Liverpool final. And they've all, if you say, name me a Champions League final, and if they're not biased towards their team and they're an actual football, so you ask non-fans of the teams, they will say AC Milan Liverpool.
Okay, Jack, here's a good question for you, Jack, okay? You just mentioned the Aguero winning the league for Man City. I believe they needed 2 injury time goals to do it, and so did Man United, so...
injury time goals that they were, hang on a minute, injury time goals that they were well within the injury time. Didn't the second United goal happen 30 seconds after the injury time was over?
Lads, I think we're missing the big question here, though, lads.
In injury time, Jack.
Lads,
so therefore the time can be put on, isn't it?
The big question here, though, boys, is can they all do it on a rainy day in Stoke?
No, they can't.
Absolutely.
I think everybody struggles to do it in a rainy day in Stoke on a Tuesday night, mate.
Roy, the last long throws.
Right, here's all for you, right? So, quick game, because I like a game, you know me. Right, so no one has ever seen Man U Bayern Munich. No one has ever seen Liverpool versus AC Milan. You've got to advertise your game. How do you advertise it? Go.
3-0 down at half time. Will they bring it back?
Hang on. No, come on, Paul. You've got to describe your game so people watch it.
First, okay.
Here. Excuse me, D. One thing. I've got a good point. I've got a very good point. You're telling me people don't mention that game, the United Bayern Munich game. So why do people still to this day refer to that game as Fergie time?
Because there was plenty of Fergie time in every single game.
Mate,
Fergie time was invented in that final. Fergie time was invented in that final.
It might have been invented in that
Fergie
final.
time
but
still happens now.
The reason it's happened is because, like you said, it still
because of that final. Paul, because of that final, we're talking about Fergie time right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Oh, without being interrupted, go for it.
Yeah.
Advertise it for someone who's never seen it.
First English team to be in a Champions League first English team to be in a Champions League final for 15 years. Basically 1-0 down into injury time, and they win it basically 2-1 to complete an amazing treble.
Right.
Against the Bayern Munich dominant side. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not a theatre guy. I can't. But the actual theatre for the whole thing.
I've got a good one.
You can go next, though, Jack. Jack, you can go next.
But you're good at this shit, Jack.
Bog standard English team beats Italy's greatest team.
I'll bog standing my ass.
Dave, you tell me in that Liverpool team that won that Champions League, can you name all 11 players? Because if you can't, they were bog standard.
Ooh.
Well, I can't name all the AC Milan players. But
Jerzy Dudek, Dietmar Hamann, Sami Hyypiä, Jamie Carragher, John Arne Riise, Gerrard. Who was the guy in the Mascherano?
No.
So Liverpool players would have got into that Man U squad that won.
How many United players are going to the Liverpool team?
The answer is none.
How many Liverpool players were getting that Man United team? None of them, because they wouldn't have been good enough.
Flip it, so Jack. How many Man United players are going to the Liverpool team?
Every single
time.
Teddy Sheringham would have definitely got into the Liverpool team in that time. 100%.
Right. Here's a question then, lads.
100%. Andy Cole would have definitely got into that team. Right, York as well. Quite a few of them.
Would that Liverpool team have done the same against Bayern Munich, and would that Man U team have done the same against AC Milan?
Different era, different
kind of football. That's my argument. Different kind of football.
Completely, but at the same time, it was two different styles of play, two different eras, like you say. So therefore, there's two different comebacks. One of them's got to be the better one. One of them's a different style of play. One of them's a different way that they came back into the game. Do you know what I mean? 3-0 down at half time. I'm sorry, you write them off. 1-0, you don't write them off as much.
Yeah, but Danny, you're right. You're right. Man United offered injury time, don't you?
No, you wouldn't. Because you'd expect them to get an equaliser.
An equaliser, yeah.
Right, if you
you'd expect to draw. You'd expect to draw.
You say that. Hang on, you say that, right? You're a man of stats. So I want you to go and do some digging and have a look from 1995 to this present day, how many goals were scored by Man United in the last 10 minutes of games. And I guarantee you there's a massive percentage of them.
Yeah.
A massive. Because Man United are a big game team. Big game team.
That make up the champions that they win. They like Chelsea do. They will scoring.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. Marcus just said, would we expect United to score before in injury time or late in the game? Yes, you do, because that's what good teams do. They if they're losing 1-0 in the 90th minute, they go and get that goal. That's like you said. That's a makeup of champions.
You got two. Yeah.
Marcus.
Right.
Where did Milan finish that year? Where did Milan finish in Serie A that year? Where did Milan finish?
They didn't win it anyway. That's all I know.
What's that?
They weren't even near the top, were they, that year?
I'll tell you now where they were. 1 second. I'll tell you where they were. I don't exactly know where they were. I'll tell you now 1 second. No.
If you did a combined 8 and Bayern Munich team, you'd probably have about 3 Bayern Munich.
Nah.
I don't know. Oliver Kahn was a hell of a player. Hell of a player. You can't take that away.
They had Dave, that season, that Bayern Munich team, like Liz Razou was one of the best left backs in the world at that point, only to Roberto Carlos that year.
Yeah, but was he better than Maldini, who started left back for AC?
Different era.
No.
And Maldini wasn't.
No.
Maldini wasn't
Who was the better?
Dave, Maldini wasn't a left back. He was playing left back because they had other players. Maldini was a centre half.
Paul, they came second. Paul, they were second. Paul, they
Maldini
were second.
Oh, they didn't do too well in the league though, did they? They came second.
They didn't win it though. They didn't win it. They didn't win it. They didn't win it. And guys,
and how many times?
How come?
How many times Milan won the title in that 10-year period?
A lot.
4 or 5 maybe.
How dominant were they in Serie A compared to Juventus?
Yeah, but who did Bayern Munich have to compete against in that era? Bear in mind, Borussia Dortmund were about to go bankrupt, so that wasn't in the equation.
Dave, Dortmund won the Champions League 2 years before.
Yes, and they went bankrupt because of it.
They didn't.
I think you find Dortmund after they won the Champions League a couple of seasons later, they were looking at bankruptcy because they couldn't afford the wages.
And it was Bayern Munich that saved them.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich saved them.
Dortmund got relegated the year after they won the Champions League.
But they were still, the German league was still as competitive back then as any other league. Milan.
Why? Who did Munich have to compete? Who did Munich have to compete?
Here's a good one for you.
Werder Bremen were good back in the 90s. Werder Bremen were good back in the 90s.
Leverkusen were decent.
Leverkusen and Werder Bremen were good back in the 90s.
Okay,
they weren't a bad team, to be honest. Here's 2 points for you now, right? And then give me your point at the end. If United won, they won their treble. If Bayern Munich won, they won their treble. Okay, but listen to this one. AC Milan beat Liverpool 2 years later with virtually the same team.
Yeah, that's how good that team was.
That's why that comeback was amazing.
But my point is, Bayern Munich had a stake in a Champions League final as well, and they were going for a treble as well.
And Bayern Munich won the Champions League 2 years later as well with the same side as well.
So there you go. Same point. Exact same point.
Italian football was competitive football. Inter Milan were a world-class team. Juventus were a world-class team. Parma back then was a world-class team.
If Italy was so good, if Italy was so good and so competitive that year, then how come the year after that Champions League final was the big scandal with match fixing?
Because hang on a minute, there's been scandals in Germany for match fixing. There's been scandals in the UK for match fixing.
Do we talk about scandals in Germany? Do we talk about scandals in Germany though?
Not over here, but probably in Germany.
But in Italy, you got to remember, most of FIFA on the board, when then scandals were happening, there were about 4 or 5 members on the FIFA board from Italy. That's why it was such a big thing, because they had FIFA officials from that country who knew about match fixing and did nothing about it. That's why it was a big story. Whereas for Germany, they had 1 or 2 in the FIFA board. They found out about it and then they kicked off about it. But it wasn't a massive news story because they didn't turn a blind eye. Whereas in Italy, they're known for match fixing. So having 4 members on the board of FIFA, the major football organisation that knew match fixing was going on and did nothing about it, and some of them actually profited from it. That's why it was such a big story about Italy.
And one of the officials was one of the joint owners of Milan.
Just out of curiosity, right? If we were, and I am going to do this. So when I put it on a poll, I'm going to do a rule. Okay, there's a rule on this poll. Liverpool and Man U fans' votes will not count. So if I put it on a poll, who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, but you
Liverpool.
can't do that because they will vote.
Liverpool. Liverpool will. Liverpool will.
They'll do that because
you can't poll that because the final is more recent to Liverpool people than to Man United. It's more recent times, so you can.
Right, it's not this time, Paul. I hate this conversation. Right, so people have never heard of Ronaldo, Brazilian Ronaldo, because it was before their time.
His haircut.
No one's ever heard of.
Danny's got his haircut.
If Man United's final was in the same time as Liverpool's final and the same result, people would vote for Man United because it was more recent to them.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you're saying that if they're actual fans of Man United, they will know about 99, even if they weren't alive to see it. They'll know about it.
I'm going to make a point of what Danny just said. Okay, so I talked about the era of football and I said the 1966 World Cup, and I can't remember what Dan exactly said, but it was along the lines of, I can't remember it. I don't really care. Not really care, but it wasn't an important thing for him.
I weren't around, so I wouldn't know it.
Neighbour,
Mate, it's the only major trophy England's won. How can you not say you're not bothered about it, Danny? It's the only major trophy England as a nation has won.
Wait, which one about? Which one you on about? I thought you were still on about
England
the Man U one.
66. No, England 66.
Yeah, no. Oh, obviously I remember that.
I'm going to ask you all a question, and I want you to be 100% honest, and I want you to tell me if you've seen it, or have seen it, or you've never seen it. World Cup final, Roberto Baggio misses the decisive penalty and he kicks it over the bar. Who's seen it?
Me.
Say it again.
Roberto Baggio in the World Cup final, Italia 90, blasts the ball over the bar on his penalty to lose them the World Cup final.
Yeah, I was 9, so I can remember it.
Yeah, I saw the game.
I wasn't born.
I wasn't even a speck in my dad's eye.
I saw the penalty.
So there we go. We've all seen it. Most of us are 2 years old. Next
The World
question.
Cup happens every day. World Cup
Right,
happens
I've got to go because I've got to go to work. I've got to go back to work.
Who's ever heard of Euro 96? Guys, have you heard of Euro 96?
every 4 years again. It's the wrong example. We have a Champions League final every year.
Okay, fair enough. We'll keep going back further. Where's Jack gone? Wimbledon.
Back to work. He's gone back to work.
Wimbledon winning the FA Cup final.
Can't remember it, Dave. Can't remember.
I cannot remember that. You're older than me.
To be fair, I only know about it because of your episode of Gaffer's Gaff.
Yeah.
You,
See, for me, Dave,
older than
Nice
me.
little plug there.
Dave, just how you're feeling now about that Wimbledon thing, exactly the way I'm thinking about United. Because for me, I can't remember that. I know Vinnie Jones was in it. I know it was a big thing, but it didn't. It doesn't strike a thing with me and go, "That's the greatest FA Cup final."
Oh yeah, and you just made the point. That's a perfect point as well, Paul. You just named one player, and they're naming one player from the Bayern Munich team. See, people remember a player; they don't remember the game.
No,
exactly. That's the point. Bang on.
But my point. No, but listen to my point. You can't say that a game is good because of you can name one player. Okay, you can name all the players, but at the end of the day, guys, United won in 90 minutes plus minutes. We still talk about that time now. They still talk about that final now. Yeah, but that Fergie time was because of that final.
People don't talk about Istanbul now.
But
you know when we talk about Dave,
right, here's a point. So you know when we see a comeback in the Premier League or any game in particular, right, and we see a comeback in that game, everyone refers it to the greatest comeback since Istanbul.
See, I don't hear that.
Yes.
You hear that. I hear the United one quite often. It's a bit like, you know, when you hear about Jack brought up that when they're doing sound clips and they go Aguero, so what's his name? Martin Tyler goes Aguero. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear clips of Clive Tinsley going Solskjaer. Yeah. I don't even remember who was commentating the Liverpool final.
Same guy, wasn't it? Clive Tinsley, wasn't it?
Who was it?
Peter Drury probably, was it?
All right, here's a quick question, and we're talking about this now. This is a big.
Answer that question, Dave. Answer that question.
Clive Tinsley.
What was doing the Liverpool final?
Well, it depends what channel you watched it on.
It was ITV.
It was on one channel, Dave. What channel was it on?
Oh, what?
It was on ITV.
What channel?
What channel
was it on?
ITV.
That year was on ITV, was it?
Yeah, because I watched it. It was either Channel 4 or Channel 5. It might have been actually.
No, it wasn't. It was ITV still at that point, I believe.
Oh.
But who was the commentator? Because it wasn't Clive Tinsley.
Oh, hang on.
And what did he say? What did he say when you scored that third goal?
Oh, he goes, "Oh, here we go."
You don't have a clue. And
You
that's what I'm saying.
do. Go for
That's
it.
what I'm saying. When we talk about moments in history, you know the 1960s.
No, but
win.
I'll jump to the gaffer's defence on this one. Why is he going to remember the commentator's reaction when all he's thinking about is they've just won the Champions League?
I can remember it, and it's replayed. It's replayed over and over again. Clyde Tinsley's Solskjaer moment is played. Just like...
All right, it was a referee in your game.
Who's refereeing our game? I don't know who the referee was.
Oh, but it was such a big name. I should remember
All
that.
right. Lads, I'll give you an extra point, yeah, if you can tell me who was fourth official for both of your games, isn't it?
But the
referee for the United game was Kalina.
Was he the referee for the final? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
But that's irrelevant, though.
The greatest referee of all time.
Yeah, well, he is. But then he was part of the scandal, wasn't he? So.
I think he was it?
Yeah, he stepped down rather than being investigated.
Yeah, he was the first referee. He was the first non-player to be on the cover of a video game, Pro Evolution 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a question of what ifs, right? So, Man United lost to Barcelona. Was it 3-0 in the final not many years ago?
Oh, 2 years running, yeah.
Yeah, so imagine, right, if you got 2 years running, what are you trying to say?
We lost 2 years running against Barcelona in the final.
Yeah, well, if you was Liverpool, you would have won. Anyway, imagine if you would have come back from 3-0 down, you would have absolutely eclipsed the Munich thing. The difference is, Liverpool did that. We did it.
The difference is, Barcelona had Messi. That's what would have made the difference. That's what made the difference for the two sides. It was Messi.
Yeah, but Man U had goals, didn't they?
Who would have thought that Messi could actually outjump someone in the air?
But didn't Messi quote that the best player he's played against is Paul Scholes?
He is, but basically Messi is the best player on the. He's one of the two best players on the planet.
Did you say that Barcelona had Messi?
Yeah.
Oh, so the fact that Liverpool beat Barcelona 4-0 and they had Messi, does that mean anything to you?
Wasn't a final.
No, but it only goes to show me that if that was the year when you then went and won the Champions League, you weren't an average side, like you're claiming you are.
Someone get the spoons out.
When we talk about European football, we all know that Liverpool are the best European English team ever. We know that. Dispute it.
I'm not disputing it, but that's the difference between me and you, Dave. That's the difference between you. You're so deluded when it comes to Liverpool. I can talk about other teams. Like I can say Leicester should have basically played better against you at the weekend. Yeah, it was Leicester's game to win. Yeah, for some reason they sat off, didn't play against you, and you were able to basically put it together and put the goals in. And I'm not disputing you didn't play well, but what I am saying, it was Leicester's game to prove a point that they were ready to basically challenge for the title this year, and they just folded for some reason.
Hang on, sorry.
We never turned up. But we're not getting into that. We're here to talk Champions League comebacks.
I know that, but I'm making a point that I can see beyond my own team. Yeah, I'm not saying that Liverpool are not the greatest English side to basically. They're not. They're probably one of the great. Well, they are one of the greatest European sides. Okay, bar Real Madrid. Yeah, you're putting them up there with basically Real Madrid. But what I am saying to you is that you can't. I don't think you could distinguish the difference in the two finals. Yeah, I think for one person to say one's better than the other, I don't think you can do that. I think they're both basically up there for their own reasons. And I think with Dave's comment about Bayern Munich being an bang average side, that's just completely wrong.
I'm not saying they were the bang average side, but what I am saying is that AC Milan side was. And the more and it kills me.
I think I can't hear you.
I can't hear him.
No.
Hear me now?
So anyway, Paul, Man United, yeah.
Marcus, do you know what's interesting? You know, the following year, so in between us basically Milan winning the Champions League and obviously completely self-destruction against Liverpool in that final. United went to the San Siro and beat them 3-1 with that same side.
Yeah.
So on one-off games, you just don't know what it's going to be like. So the reason why I brought up the Leicester game was because you just don't know. Everyone, you know that throughout the whole week, Leicester were being bigged up, and they were basically saying it's their game because Liverpool had so many injuries or half-fit players or whatever excuse which was being put out there that Liverpool weren't going to turn up. And Leicester fans were rightly so. They were confident. They were confident they're going to go to Anfield with no fans and go and beat Liverpool in their own back garden. And it was a confidence thing. And then what turned up was a complete different game. So I don't think you can look at the two games and go, well,
I've got
Liverpool
a question.
better because Milan basically were
3-0
up.
I've got a question, lads. I've just done a little bit of research. So we was talking about earlier about table positions, weren't we? Of what was it? Munich and AC Milan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So AC Milan finished second.
Yeah.
That season. Manchester United finished top of the league when they beat Munich. Yeah.
Yeah.
Liverpool finished fifth. Yeah, we can, Gaffer. Liverpool finished fifth that season. So going on that point, Liverpool there. Leicester was slated for finishing fifth. You know, Liverpool finished fifth that season, and they went on to come back the way they did. You can't not give it to them. If Man U won the league that year,
didn't Chelsea win the?
Chelsea won the league that year. Yeah.
Champions League when they were fifth.
Not sure. Wait.
They finished fifth, I think, and then won the Champions League. I think. I'm not too sure.
I think they finished fourth. They top four side for a while.
Watching, guys. Hang on. People who are watching, just let us know which you think was the best Champions League final. Was it Liverpool v AC or was it Man United versus Bayern Munich? Let us know.
And Paul, you touched on it there about confidence. But like going to any confident game, you're going to a final for the Champions League. Both sides are going to be confident going into that, and that's what made the two finals brilliant.
Yeah.
But how, like, obviously Liverpool are 3-0 down, their confidence will be down at half time. But like, it's
you guys haven't played a final then.
It's the last kick of the game basically for United. The last roll of the dice for United. 90 minutes are up. And how is our confidence out? There's a few minutes left to save this. If it goes 1-1, they could lose an extra time.
But that's the thing.
Well, that's
the thing, though, Marcus. That Man U team did amazing things. Yeah, so that they can win games like that. Danny, you can look to the 90th minute and you can expect them to win. Maybe, okay, if they didn't win it, you know, you can look at it a different way. But they did, and it's because they are the team that they were. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool
Danny,
was a... Yes, mate.
In that final, we had no Keane Scholes. We had our centre midfield, which was classed as one of the best in the Premier League for 10 years. We didn't have them. They were suspended.
But you were...
When
I look back at Manchester United, mate, and if we're talking about that era from when I was a child, you know, like I said, the years I can't remember. Yeah. I can't remember the years, but what I do remember is Man U dominated those years. So, you know, for them to win a game like that, maybe not in Europe, but they were known about. Do you know what I mean? That Liverpool squad back then in 2005 wasn't as in your face as it is now. Do you know what I mean? It's
but Paul, listen to this, right? You said you know Keane Scholes. United won that game with Boss, and David Beckham was playing centre mid that day.
Say again, sorry, Marcus.
Nicky Boss and David Beckham were playing centre mid.
They were. Jesper Blomqvist was playing. Jesper Blomqvist played
on the left, on the right, and Giggs was on the left.
Yeah. So, and my point about Liverpool. Okay. Once again, I'm going to stipulate it. It was a great achievement. It was one of the best achievements. Okay, that game was absolutely amazing. I'm not disputing that at all. The difference between what United did to what Liverpool did was by the time Liverpool got to a final of the Champions League, English sides were starting to dominate Europe. So starting to get into the semi-finals, the quarter-finals, okay? And it would happen every single year. When United got into the final that year, there was no other English club who were even. I mean, we couldn't even break the second round for a few years. We were
We're
struggling
on-
to get anywhere near the final.
We're
No
on about
team was
the
getting in there.
which was the better game. That's what we're on about.
But in the context of what was happening and how United did it at the time, no one when that final came along, no one expected United to basically beat Bayern Munich. I'm telling you, that's the situation. And then with 2 minutes to go in a game, where United had a bang average midfield in place because they took off obviously two of the midfielders and stuck on obviously two more strikers. It was down.
went
It
for it.
was like a Rocky moment. It was like a Rocky moment, just like the Liverpool game was, but it was for different reasons.
They're
It's
different
like-
finals.
Do
They're
you know
different
what?
finals.
It's like you comparing Manchester United comeback in the season against Newcastle, yeah, to Man City winning the Premier League for the last kick with Aguero. It's like you're comparing those two title wins and which one was the best one. For me, if you look at it, we had Eric Cantona coming back. We did this review with Newcastle, and Newcastle threw it away. Some people say Newcastle threw it away. Some people say United were relentless. Yeah. If you look at the AC Milan game, some people would say if you're an Italian, you would say AC Milan threw it away. If you're English, you turn around and go Liverpool won it because basically it was amazing. It was an amazing comeback. It's on the eye of the beholder. It always will be.
I think we're not going to agree on this at all. So I think we need to put it in a poll. And what's wrong with putting it in a poll?
Put it in a poll,
going
but we want reasons as well, guys. So obviously we want your reason why that final was
Dave,
better than the other.
Dave makes a good point. Leave a reason and then vote, or vote and leave a reason.
Yeah. So to be unbiased, I won't put the poll up, and Paul won't put the poll up. Marcus or
I
Danny,
will.
because you guys.
Danny,
need to
I'll
put the
do it.
poll.
Danny, yeah, say leave a reason as well.
I'll do it.
Yeah, say leave a reason too.
Yeah. All right. Up in the gaffer. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Danny, for joining us on this heated debate. And it's been an enjoyable one. I mean, I think Istanbul was the best game. Paul thinks that I don't even know what
Funny lad.
And yeah, like Danny says, you've got to leave a reason for voting. Oh, and Liverpool and Man U votes will not count. Okay, are we happy with those rules?
Yeah.
Yep.
Istanbul.
Right.
Night in Munich, 2-1.
We're gonna do a bit of I don't know. Should we play the Gaffer's Gaff theme tune, or should we do some promotional work?
Do some promotional
What do you
work.
reckon? Let's do some promotional work.
Dave, Dave. Guys, stay tuned at 2 o'clock. Join me and Paul for the Retro Review Show at 2 o'clock. And we're discussing world-class strikers.
Right, so
Jamie Vardy,
later
then.
on, so guys, these are the adverts for what's coming up soon. So first show up today is, I need to find your video, Marcus,
Highly professional, this, isn't it?
is this. It's not every Sunday, by the way. I need to change that. So that's coming on later. And you're going to be talking about what exactly?
World-class strikers.
World-class strikers. And if Akinfen was not in there, then I'll be quite happy because it's crap. Right. Also coming on later today
Beast mode.
It is the show with the greatest theme tune of all time. It's at 7 o'clock. Might be a little bit later, and I'm going to be joined by who?
Potentially me.
Potentially
Potentially
Paul.
me.
That's potentially Paul.
Me.
Maybe me.
Potentially Paul. What's that, Marcus? Marcus going to be on Mr. Weir.
I'll be there, mate. I'll be there.
And this is coming on at 7 o'clock. Maybe a little bit. Wrong show.
Oh.
Wow. I mean, what can you say? Can I just say, lads, that show was rated number one on what the viewers most wanted to see more of. Arrogant Smile coming in 3, 2, 1. There we go. Right, we're going to be discussing tonight what is actually the best league in Europe. We're only including the top league, so it'll be Serie A versus Bundesliga versus La Liga versus the Premier League. What is actually the best league? We're going to be talking about goal
And the league, and the League of Ireland as well.
Yeah.
That's not.
Where?
I mean, I was going to put the French team, but everyone in the world thinks it sucks. So we're not going to again. Also, on Thursday, we have got the show with arguably the second biggest thing, and actually one of my favourite videos. Here we go. Paul, how's the voting going at the moment?
Yeah, so guys, we've got about probably about another 3 or 4 hours before we take the voting down. We're encouraging everyone to vote in. We've got 2 clear winners at the moment. Go across the vote, have a look, see what they are. At the moment, we're getting Martin on the show because he's put up one of the subjects, which is winning. So there's 4 of us on the show again. Sort of best England team in the era and top 3 footballing moments. One of them has to be a non-supported moment. So, i.e., my example would be, hey,
Istanbul, then, yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Obviously, we're going to debate that to high heaven, yeah.
What about Zidane's? What about Zidane's headbutt at Materazzi?
Mate, at the end of the day, they may be coming up. There are literally footballing moments. I've got one on there which is very interesting, purely because I was there at the game, and it isn't one of the United ones. But I'll talk about that because it was absolutely an amazing moment and it's the football moment everyone remembers. And I said I was there to witness it. So,
Danny, we can't see by the way.
You can't see, man.
No, you can't.
No, we've not been able
to, mate.
I don't know. I can see me on mine.
It's beautiful, mate. But
Danny's been froze for the last half an hour on mine.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good, is it?
It's like a profile pic.
It's like you're speaking, Danny. It's like, Danny is speaking, but the words won't come out.
It's like he's up on
Oh,
a
that's
pitch.
not good.
The last show we're going to advertise, no offense, lads, is actually one of my favourite shows coming up on Friday. The last video I'm going to show you is this one.
I do have to say, Gaffer, I absolutely love that one.
It's good, isn't it?
The ball's on fire.
Must tune into the Mitch's one. I mean, every show's must tune into. But Mitch has been very quiet since Sunday. I don't know why, but for some reason he's very quiet. And I think this will be the first time we actually hear from him. So yeah, we find out why Mitch has gone quiet on Friday. So yeah,
I think he's been really ill, actually, guys. To be honest, he did tell me he was feeling a bit under the weather. He was telling me like, what was it, Friday evening? He was telling me. That's probably the reason.
So yeah, shout out to everyone. Basically, thanks for watching. I hope Mitch gets better. So yeah, 2:00. It is going to be the retro review show. 7:00 or a little bit after, depending on circumstances. Gaff. Thursday night. Is it 7:00?
Yeah.
8 o'clock.
Ace.
8.
Was it 8?
8 o'clock.
Ace.
The
Oh yeah.
And of course we've got Mitch's Serious Debate Show. Thanks for watching, guys. From the Gaffer, I bid you a good day. Stay safe.
Adios.
Oh, hello. Bye bye.